Yesterday, my colleague Ridhima Shukla spoke to the chairman of the CW Enterprise and Investment Council to chat about the latest developments concerning East Africa and the future of the Commonwealth nations and Africa's trade relations. Here's the conversation.
I think we're looking at another event here following up from the very successful Commonwealth Business Forum that we had here last June. 1,700 people, 25 heads of state, President of the World Bank, President of FIFA even, and World Health Organization, the chairman of COP then in the UK, and 1,700 very, very senior businessmen. Of course, our new king, who is head of the Commonwealth. So it was a great event. I think probably other than Davos, it's the biggest bringing together of people under one roof of that sort of influence. And it was an enormously successful event, so why would we not have another one here, hopefully in October?
I'm sure Kigali would be happy to hear that. We were part of the Commonwealth Business Forum last year. It was all very exciting. But we're hearing about this trade and investment hub in East Africa, for East Africa in Nairobi, capital of Kenya. What is that all about? What is new in terms of financial vehicles that it will introduce or exchange of knowledge? What's unprecedented about it?
Well, it's not totally unprecedented, apart from it is in East Africa, which is very important. My philosophy is that the Commonwealth cannot reside in the United Kingdom. It has to be out amongst the Commonwealth countries. So we've probably got 9 or 10 hubs now throughout the Commonwealth. We're in Accra, we're in Lagos, we're in Douala on the west side, and we really want to have a presence here. And you can only really start a presence in a place if there is a desire from the local community to do it. And happily, the great James Mwangi from Equity Holdings gets what we're trying to do, gets what we're trying to do in East Africa, and has agreed to support us in opening a hub here to bring trade and investment into this region. Particularly working with our friends here in Rwanda, and after this meeting I go to Uganda and I will see the president there and various business people, hopefully that we can sort of utilize this hub to bring development activity in the business and commercial world and help with outward investment.
Are there any specific sectors of growth and development that you're looking at that are first in line?
Well, the target changes a lot. Before Ukraine and COVID, we would not have put food security at the top of our priority. Food security now is utmost priority for countries. And so that's a new particular subject. Energy security has come way up into the forefront of everyone's imagination. So those are two of the things we've been prioritizing. But obviously underpinning all that is sustainability, the climate change issues that are so important, CSR, etc., within businesses. And then, of course, you have tech, health tech, fintech, and then tourism. So these are issues that we bring together people to discuss, bring together to try and create activity and investment.
Just if you look at the past decade of the Commonwealth nations, how much expectations have been met in terms of investment? And you're speaking about enterprises here. Yeah. How much change have you actually seen, not looking at, in comparison to how Africa is trading and exchanging with the world, and then with Commonwealth nations within and outside of Africa?
Well, it's very hard to put your finger on why the Commonwealth works. It is a loose alliance. It's not formed by treaty or anything like that. It's a loose alliance. It's by invitation. Until a few years ago, English would have had to be your first language. That has now changed with the advent of Gabon joining, and Togo, and of course Cameroon and Mozambique. So that is no longer the priority. But it is a loose alliance of nations who want to come together and share opportunities. And of course, that's why there is a Commonwealth Youth Forum, that's why there's a Commonwealth Games, that's why there's a Commonwealth Business Forum, which we luckily host, and various Commonwealth activities. They're alliances of people. And one of the things that we've just started, by the way, is the Commonwealth Legal Network, which is now only just started. We've got 17 countries where we have law firms that have passed this test of credibility, where businesses who are wanting to export to another country but are uncertain of the route to market can get legal advice before they put their foot or toe in the water to trading in that country. This is how you create trade. Businesses naturally are nervous about entering a new market. They want to know what the rule of law is, what the taxation issues are, whether they're going to be safe and secure, employing people in country. And our job, by having these hubs, by the way, and these representative hubs where we've now got 8 or 10, is to help with that process. That's all we do, to help show businesses that, to de-risk the investment. So these are the sort of things we do. Of course, it wasn't done until 9 years ago when we started doing these things. It was a different organisation then. It was really, his life was spent around the Commonwealth Business Forum. This now is a different philosophy that we've adopted, and it's phenomenal how people really get it, how they can see the opportunities, because what we're doing every day is presenting them. And people think, gosh, I'd never thought about coming to Rwanda or investing there, or Kenya is changing. Why is it changing? Well, it's changing because they've put in different disciplines into doing business. So these are interesting, and I've just recently been in Angola. Angola, of course, is not a Commonwealth country, even though they're hoping to be. But this is a country that's now emerging from a past, wanting to be more outward-looking, and we will help them, as with Gabon and Cameroon and places like that.
When you speak of this help and these advocacies that you're hoping to get to Africa, what do you also take back to the root country, the origin point, that is the UK? What would you have to say to African businesses who are looking to export more of their products into the UK and are sort of disproportionate in terms of how they are taxed, their products are taxed in comparison to Asian markets, let's say?
Well, I don't work for the UK government. I work for 56 governments, or those with...
But this is where the question comes.
Yeah.
Is the Commonwealth sensibilities, do they truly reflect UK's foreign trade policy?
No. No, in short. And the UK government is the most difficult government to deal with us on this subject. I'm their biggest critic, is that they haven't, in a post-Brexit situation, really embraced the Commonwealth opportunity. They're slowly grinding through the gears now of understanding it. I mean, you have to remember that they pretty much dumped the Commonwealth to go into the European Union. They nearly bankrupted New Zealand when they stopped importing New Zealand lamb, etc. So they're slowly coming back into understanding what it is. But to me, Uganda or Rwanda or Kenya are equally as important as the United Kingdom.
So you're saying, what I'm understanding is this is not post-colonial nostalgia, but instead there is actual opportunity here.
I think anyone who thinks about post-colonial nostalgia is living in a different world than I'm living in. Mm. I don't come to these countries and think, it doesn't sort of even, people never even mention it to me. You're the first person to mention me for a long time, apart from someone in the British press. I think everyone's moved on from this in my own observation. The world's been through this incredible crisis. We've all suffered. We are still suffering. You look at countries everywhere, they're suffering. And we need to find a way of getting out of it. And it's the most proven way of getting out of it is trade and business. And what I'm incredibly encouraged by is how people have got back into it again. They're really wanting to do it. They're wanting to celebrate meeting fellow business people, seeing opportunities, and it's so right. This is the only way we're going to get out of this economic crisis.
You mentioned the change in behaviour, in approach after Brexit, and the fact that also AFCFTA protocol is now hopefully going to pick up further. These two things in combination, what do they mean for Commonwealth
No, I
nations in Africa?
think you've made a really brilliant point, amongst, of course, many brilliant points you just made now. But the African Free Trade Agreement is a remarkable thing. Remarkable in two ways. One is that it's happened, and two is the speed with which it's happened. No one ever thought you could get agreement amongst African countries that quickly. The implementation is now going to be the key. And I see, I've just been with the Trade Minister here, you know, the amount of time it's taking up in his life, having been in Accra where it's headquartered, the amount of time it's taking there. I mean, I think this is an incredible achievement. It's going to be an incredibly powerful thing. What it leads to is transparency. What it leads to is openness. What it leads to is free trade. And these are the proven ways that you lift yourself as a country out of poverty or out of, you know, the financial problems that you find yourself in a post-COVID often world. So I think it's probably one of the most exciting things that's happened. Now, if the United Kingdom are very sensible, they will make sure they're first in the queue to assist with it and cooperate with it. And of course, our organisation wants to be very much part of helping them and assisting them, because it plays completely into our modus vivendi way of operating, way of life. So very exciting. For my own part, I find myself on the scrutiny committee of every trade deal that the United Kingdom is doing. So I will see firsthand how the United Kingdom reacts to it. And for my part, I'll be giving them more than an electric prod on the backside to get on with it.